and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Fried. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's January 10th, so the window has passed, but it's January 3rd when we are recording.
Right, we're within the window
yes.
of Happy New Year's being said.
We are.
And we just saw each other. We haven't seen each other since.
I know. Well, it's funny that you say that because I slept terribly last night. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, should I just ask for this to be virtual? And then I was like, no, I haven't been here in a while. We need to catch up.
We got to catch up.
We cannot do a virtual catch up. That's sad.
No, and this show, when we do it in live,
yes, it's
energy,
a different feeling. Yeah.
Different vibe, different feel. And also we have to recap the recap.
Oh, recap the recap of the date. Yes.
Well,
how is, before we get into that,
yes.
how were your holidays?
I had a great holiday season. The shows in San Diego were a blast. La Jolla is the most beautiful.
You look tan.
I got a little shine going on. I know you're jealous.
Yeah, I am.
So I went. Christmas in New York was fun. Just like, it had that. You could hear the jingle bells.
Yes.
It had that vibe. And then I went to San Diego for the shows, and then they were great. Thank you to everyone who came. And then I went San Diego to Miami, which is not an easy travel day.
Okay.
6
Is
a.m.
there direct flights?
No, if you do Delta. I'm committed.
You
I'm
really are committed.
I really am.
You really will.
Well,
I think you're more committed to Delta than maybe
anything in my life.
Anyone.
Right. Anything.
Like, I don't think that you would take a connecting flight for any person.
Absolutely not.
But
no, right. Yeah. You're right. Like if
even
someone
me,
was like,
you're a very good friend. If I was like, could you meet me in this place? It's just it's a connecting flight. You would be like, absolutely.
Well,
not.
I'd be like, does Delta do it?
They do it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I'm like, listen, if a woman was like, I live an hour away, I'd be like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. For Delta, you will switch airlines. What's the longest layover you would do with a layover?
I wouldn't even look at the length. I would just go,
You would just go. Wow.
I go to the site. I don't go to Google flights. No, I'm not like on Kayak like you pigs.
The only person you treat like you're madly in love.
I really am.
Yeah.
And, I actually had a scenario because I went 6 a.m. San Diego to Minneapolis, then Minneapolis to Miami. It's a long day of flying, okay? Because you got to land in Minneapolis, you got to do the layover, then you got to hope everything works out. Mm-hmm. It did, but I used my travel certificates to get the bump up.
Okay.
So you have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get to the airport for the 6 a.m. flight. So now we're at 4:30 a.m., 7:30 Eastern time. So now I get bumped. I use my certificate, bumped for the first flight, and then I see that I'm not on the upgrade list for the second flight. And there's open seats. So I go straight to the Sky Club and I go, hey, everybody.
Right. We're supposed to be in a relationship.
Right. Well, I felt let down.
What are you doing? You said you were going to be off tonight.
Right. Delta. I go, hey, they don't have me on the list for the upgrade. They've already upgraded a couple of people. There's one seat left. What's happening here? So they go, they start calling people. They're calling. Then someone else gets the seat.
Oh, wow.
And it was embarrassing. I was almost a viral video. Because I said, I go, listen, I do too much for this relationship.
I mean,
right. You
have invested a lot over the years. How much have you invested? Time, money,
everything, emotional stakes. Yes. And I go, this is just not going to work. And they go, no, we're going to call. I go, you got to call someone. I go, this is just like, I was depressed.
You were like a woman in a breakup, because a woman in a breakup, like I said, will say, please change, please change, please change. And then if this happened to you 4 more times with Delta, would you not be out?
It would be hard for me to. I have so much invested. I'm an older man. I have so many years left.
Right. Now you know how a woman feels when he just won't propose.
You're right.
Now you get it.
I was mopey. I was so
You're
mopey.
Stuck.
And then I look at all of a sudden the ticket, the person that got upgraded got taken down and I got put in the seat.
Oh, wow. They degraded a seat?
Yes.
If
And
that
I
were
looked
me,
at the
I would
woman.
freak out.
I go, the woman at the desk who's like helping me out. I go, we're good. I'm all set. Thank you. Can't thank you enough for
Oh
all
my
your
God.
help. I was a different person. Happy holiday. Hope the kids are okay.
I mean,
This person that I
that's
was
called
just so
getting
angry
what you
with.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that would have made it better is if I had saw the person get degraded.
You would have liked
I-
that. What if they were like? What if
that
they
would've
were
been
like
beautiful.
a little old woman or like?
I would, yes, watch her go, look at the first time in my life I've been upgraded. What? What happened? Who's
How do you-
Jay-Free?
How do you explain that to a person who got upgraded and be like,
I would
I'm
have done, if I had come to the gate and there was someone at the desk going, I don't know what happened. I had 1B and now I don't have, I would have like came in my pants. Like it would have been the greatest moment of my life. It's not enough that I succeed, it's that others do
right.
worse.
I mean, that's what the holidays.
That's
that's
what
what the
my dad
holiday
has always
season's all
said.
about. Right.
It's what right. This is what the New Year's all about. What a way to roll into 2024 with a lot of positivity. So I got to Miami, 6:00. I had my martini at the bar at the nice hotel. It was a beautiful
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. I saw some fireworks. Woke up in Miami, and then they said again, not enough to succeed. It's that others do worse than me.
Yes, of course.
The weather had been bad, and then they said that the first
As soon
and
as you
second,
touched down.
as soon as I got there, they said the sun came out,
Wow.
and my parents came to the beach. We sat, had a bottle of wine, my mom and I. My dad counted how many glasses of wine we had, and then
Your dad doesn't. Oh yeah,
he doesn't drink. Yeah, so he was
Okay.
just watching us drink, and then that was it. I just hung out. I had a really nice time. It was
Got it all.
I really got it all.
That
Again,
sounds
like,
a lot better than mine.
what
Yeah,
was
right.
your New Year's?
I was here. It was like there was nothing worse than being here this week in particular, because not only do you see everyone's pictures from the Caribbean,
Right.
and
People,
everywhere,
the traveling
right,
people.
and the warmth and places, but there was this like mist in New York. Were you here for that? I don't know. Maybe it'd been before
I was here
Oh,
with
you were
a-
like in San Diego.
I saw a little mist.
There was
I
this
do,
like,
yeah, there was a
literally,
dew.
it wasn't even necessarily raining. It was, you went outside and there was just like this never-ending mist for like 3 days straight.
Just inside of a cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. What's the story? You were in Sleepy Hollow. You know, like the cut off head with the pumpkin.
Yeah, I think that's Sleepy Hollow.
Is
Yeah.
that-
Right.
Like I could see that your neighborhood would really be misty too. You're in the woods.
Extremely misty, extremely foggy. It was just like a very it was like a little depressing,
It had-
especially even around, that week between the Christmas New Year's. There's
Right.
really not much to do, especially when it's misty.
Yeah, the mistiness. I can understand that.
Yeah.
It affects your mood.
Can't even go for a walk in the mist.
Wow, I could do a misty walk.
A misty walk. You would go in a misty walk.
I would. I'd push through because I need that walk, and also it would be
guess.
like refreshing. But you'd have to wear a long cloak, and you'd have to wear a big hat, and you'd have to scare people.
Yeah.
What did you
So-
do for New Year's Eve?
We went to Mike's friend's house,
Okay.
which was great. It was we played
Couples?
played a lot of games. Couples played a lot of games.
Is there a moment like this? Is like on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a man in a woman's world a little bit here.
Okay.
We have male listeners, but I would say that women care about the dating chit chat more generally. Like
Sure. Yeah, we're talking about
what
dating
when
all
we
the
get into
time.
like
Yeah.
dating nuance. That is something
yeah.
that happens.
Men
More.
are not talking about
Well,
like the ins and outs of that. I don't.
No,
think.
I mean that's why why this podcast exists.
Right.
If they
You
cared more, maybe there would be this more active conversation. So do you sit there at game night and you go, and then like do you go, this is what it was all for. This is it. We made it.
I think it's a mix. Part of it is that's really nice, and then part of it was like I had like flash. You always have flashbacks to like your most interesting New Year's.
Yeah, you start to get reflective.
Yeah, and I was like thinking about 2011 when I was in Miami at the Fountain Blue, where I think who was it? Like it was one of the house music people. Who was it?
Like
Shit.
Tiesto.
It was like Tiesto. I think it was Tiesto actually. Like going out there and just being so drunk, and I was kind of like, that was fun too.
Right. Well, because the men, I would
yeah.
assume at game night, and this is something that I feel very much so, like, like sometimes you see a guy at his wedding, he's like, I don't know how I got here. Like he's just like been twirled around, and then he's at his wedding, twirled around, then he's at Uno. You know, like I don't think that there was the push as much, and it's like sometimes I push for something, and I go, okay, you got it. You happy now?
Right.
You know, and I
did you feel that way with the special?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it. Right. You happy now? Yeah. You know, deal with it.
Right.
Got what you want.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's definitely like there's moments of that. It's I think it's like a dichotomy, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you're like, wow, like been working a lot of years towards this. Towards this boring ass New Year. New Year, quiet New Year's in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because he has a lot of friends, and some of them have kids, and so some of the people brought their kids.
Wow. Okay.
So that was like really
life comes at you fast.
Right.
Yeah,
that was really like, oh, I really am not at Tiesto now.
Right. No, this is
but it's sort of like it's weird. It's like a both ways thing of like sometimes there is like a little bit of a longing for like that period of life because you really don't get it back.
Right.
You know, it feels like it's over.
You go, did I do it enough? I'm sure.
Right.
Did Tiesto, did I get out? Did I
get enough
squeeze
Tiesto?
it? Yeah. Did I get enough Tiesto? Yeah. That's,
yeah.
No, I listen, and there's an element for me. I had what I would consider like a perfect New Year's Eve. I'm sitting in a bar. It wasn't crowded. There was a band kind of playing.
Right.
And like 12:15, hopped into bed. I was tired. You know, like it was a long day of travel. But like
New Year's kiss.
I'm not gonna
kiss and tell. Okay.
Not gonna sit
All right. None of your fucking business, listeners.
Well, on the subject of kiss and tell, let's put a bow on the date.
Okay.
Yes,
on the you update.
The you update. It was December 19th. It was my my last date of 2023.
Yes.
And now we're getting the feedback now from the feedback because we did the episode where like we had Nora on and she was great. What did you think? Hearing back from the audience, do you have any last thoughts? Because I wonder about doing it again. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You know, it was very much I
think we would do it different if we did it again. Here's the thing. I think it was completely average. I would say the episode, the date. I think maybe it was built up a little bit, and then I think it wound up being like a 5 out of 10.
You know what? But I think that's actually good. I think what we showed people, like I follow a couple accounts that are like now in the dating game. I get pushed to these accounts and I go look at them every now and again. It's all extremes. Right. It's all like, look at this horrific person on Hinge and look at this person who doesn't ask any questions on Tinder. And you go, these things happen. I'm not saying they don't happen, but most, you know, you go on a date and you go, that was fine.
Well, again, like, that's what gets the hits. That's what gets the likes or these. What the audience, I think, wanted to hear was that you were getting married to this person, you were completely in love, or it was awful and you both had like a lot of shit to say about each other. Right. That's what people want.
Well, if it bleeds, it reads. Right. That's what, you know.
You know, I love Real Housewives. Why do I love Real Housewives? Not because it's like women having interesting, civilized conversations around a circle, being nice to each other. No, it's people getting drunk and saying extremely insulting things and having extreme drama. Like that is, you know.
You're right. I think it's interesting from my end. It felt like I got what it was like to be the single female in the group.
Okay.
Because I'm hearing back from a majority female audience.
Yeah.
And there's just so many opinions. And there's just so much coming at you. And then everyone
has their own prognosis.
Prognosis of your mental state and how you're doing things wrong and and some are positive.
Like you were at an online table of aunts.
Right. The auntie table. Yeah. And it kind of like made me thankful to be
a man,
a dude. Yeah. Okay. A straight guy. It made me, you know, we don't get much.
Don't you?
Right?
Don't you?
I just think like it was so many layers to everyone's opinion on it. And I'm like, to me, it was just so simple of like, nice person, you know, like not my match. And that's okay. Like, I don't know. It was interesting to me, like, to have, because I've never dealt with it, like, with friends of mine. Like, oh, you still seeing so and so? Oh, what happened? Oh, that stinks. I'm sorry. Like, it's never like,
Right.
as a
how
married
did-
person, I'll tell you when I was looking under the rafters of my apartment, I found a man. You know, like, it was just like,
Right.
I don't know. It
You
made,
felt judged?
oh, there's like, I felt a little judged. I felt a little like, I was like, is this how women feel when they're the one single
Oh, yeah.
woman? You know, like,
I think that's
so many varying opinions. Like,
honestly, that's sort of like, I think, the crux of a lot of issues with being. It's like, not that you're single. The fear is being the last single friend, I think, more than it is being single.
and I'll add on to this, and I want to, if you please disagree, this idea of doing it right. Like, I don't really live by that. Doing dating right or wrong. It's not black and white. It's you. It's
Mhm.
whatever you feel, that's right.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
that's with
and
anything
as long
else
as
in
you act
life, right?
honestly and with class and purpose and be nice to people, like, as much as you can be nice to people, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the right answer. Like, I think I kind of felt that. Like, I've always believed this was the case, but I did feel this, like, doing it right versus wrong thing that I'm like, that's just not, I don't believe, I just don't, like, that sucks. That you would go on a date and, did I do this? Did I mess it up?
Right. Well, so
You know.
did you feel like you messed it up?
No, but like,
I feel like your date Nora said that you were an amazing first date. That's what
Well-
that's kind of what I took from the episode, is that you were a great first date, which
Well-
I'm not surprised about.
I think it's more like the process that we took. You know, how we found someone, how we took emails, what we looked for.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of.
We got a lot of that.
Should have picked this girl.
Should have done this.
Picked that. Whatever. Yeah.
This was wrong. There's so much
It's like we
judgment.
just are having some fun, people.
Right, and this
Take
is
a breather.
Well, I to play this out to like the friend group and single people, and to say you've been seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to not live in right and wrong and live in this like Zen crystal rubbing. Well, I'm just doing what feels right in my gut.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard to do when you have, and again, when people, you know.
Well, that's exactly like a lot of the fertility stuff I had
Right.
talked to you about on one of our benefits episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's just so funny that you're drinking from a mug that says Holly. It's like not your mug.
Sorry, Holly.
Sorry, Holly.
It's a good mug.
It's just funny.
I just waltz in here, start eating popcorn, taking people's mugs.
But it's just like the whole process of anything is made so much harder by like the judgments and opinions of others, and the feeling that you're not doing it right is like the worst, is the part that makes it kind of miserable.
Right.
Like if you could just do it and be like, well, you know, you know, which is something I'd worked with my therapist on. If you could go through this whole thing as just like an observer, like tried that, this happened. Like, you know what I mean? Not like putting so much judgment on everything that you do. The whole process will just be a lot more fun for everyone.
Right. No, I felt it a little bit. I was like, not, and I knew this existed, this nature of right, wrong, and we fight against that. We try to, you know, have,
Unsolicited opinions.
yeah, just like, and you know, again with the woman that I ghosted, like so many people, like they knew nothing about that person
Right.
or me, you know, and they were like, that's, it's almost like you scratched the itch of a romantic story that they would have loved to have
That's
heard.
the whole thing. It's all everything. Every time and everyone gets like all riled up, it's a projection of something that happened to them and how they're, you know, making it about themselves. That's kind of like
Right.
why Taylor Swift is also so popular. Like all her songs, like they're kind of doing that. You're kind of like, I
Right.
felt that way when someone did that to me.
Taylor Swift
You know?
is the master of it.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift makes every, like, you know, fifth hottest girl in a wealthy town feel seen.
I
You
feel
know, like-
I feel seen.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just
Right.
saying. Like
What?
this is, and I just think like
Yeah.
every pretty girl from a wealthy town feels like, oh my god, she's speaking my story.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and because it's like This is someone who like grew up okay,
Mhm.
you know, probably
Got
went to,
enough attention from men to be
in the game.
Yeah,
She's dating.
right,
She's
yeah.
got boyfriends.
Sure.
Loved
Yeah.
and lost.
Right.
She's not a loser, you know.
But it's kind of hard for her to like get the commitment.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, some girl
lot of-
petting her horse at her parents' stable.
Exactly. A lot of our listeners, and you know me. That's why I love. I relate to Taylor. I love Taylor.
I'm a fan.
We digress. Sorry. What were we?
But that's I guess to put a button on the dating experience. I don't know about doing it again, but we would go about it a different way. You write to edit. Again, I think that's I this is my motto, but I think a lot of people would be helped with this idea of like write to edit.
That's what I'm saying.
Go do things and then you'll figure it out from there.
This part worked, this part didn't work.
Right.
This part did the Seville reach out to you? Are they mad?
Not yet.
Okay.
Someone found the couch.
They
I
found
love
it.
it. Again,
Yeah.
someone found the couch
I
from
think
the
it's
Seville
kind of
that I sat in.
amazing. People were. I actually think it's amazing. People were so invested in this state because
It's
I was reading some
relatable.
of those YouTube comments too, and I'm like, wow, you people really give a shit about Jared and about like about your quest to find. Like they're very invested, and that's kind of you are Taylor Swift to them.
I am Taylor Swift. I think it's because of the power of the show.
Yeah.
We have a relatable show. There's people going through it. And this is to say to the people single that hear a lot of noise. Like, you're doing it right.
Drown out the noise.
Yeah, you're doing okay. There's nothing you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
Like
Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Eventually, it will lead to what you want.
I think so. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about... Oh, do you have any shows coming up real quick?
I have so many shows.
You just want to go to jaredfree.com.
jaredfree.com, Boise.
What needs the most help? Let's cut the shit.
What needs the most help?
Yeah.
New York City.
What's getting weird?
I added a second
Really?
show in New York City.
City's-
So
okay.
because
it's
then
okay.
you add
I'll
a
bring
second
50
show.
friends. It's fine.
If you go from the top of the mountain to the fucking bottom, there's a second show added. Boston, it's gonna let's just get these sold, okay? Oh, I need Madison, Wisconsin. I don't even know. Do we have anybody?
I'm sure.
Madison, Wisconsin, Buffalo. I've talked a lot of shit about Buffalo.
They might be your reckoning.
Yeah, this might be it. Big prank.
Yeah.
No one shows. Buffalo, I'm coming. New York, second show added. Okay, it's like February 17th. It's going to be a fun time. Great Valentine's gift
Totally.
to be like, hey, let's go to a show in a couple nights.
Is it a late show? That's
Late
added?
show.
Okay.
I had a couple Orthodox Jews that were like, where's our show?
Really?
Sun's down,
That's
bitches.
for them?
So get your
A
tickets.
couple or the...
Boston, there's a second show. Toronto, we had a second show. Chicago's almost done. Minneapolis, Royal Oak, Boise, Olympia, Washington. I don't know where the fuck that is. I think it's near Seattle, but they were like, it's a different market.
I don't go anywhere.
Right. They got a Misty Woods there too.
Oh, okay.
Vancouver, Denver, San Francisco, LA. I really want to sell out. Like,
Yeah.
that would be really
Come
nice.
on, guys.
Come on. LA, come on. It's a big night. It's the Netflix is a Joke Festival.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows. So
Oh.
I'm competing against a lot of shows, you know?
I didn't even mention tonight I am going to a Taylor Swift cover band
What? Wait a minute.
at the Paramount. Where
Hold on. Someone wrote into my podcast, J Train podcast, which is brand new. Everyone
Oh,
go check out the
yeah.
J Train. Jordana's coming on.
I'm coming on.
The first episode was off the rails from minute one. You're gonna have to stick with me. We're going through. We're writing the edit there too. It's a fun show. I mean, I laugh like crazy doing the show. Someone wrote in that they got tickets to the Taylor Swift cover band, and there's like 2 versions of tickets.
To your okay.
So it was a luxury lounge complaint. They were saying that they like brought their daughter. So
I'm
you
a
might
little
be
more
amongst-
nervous. It might be a lot of moms and kids, but
It might be.
I mean, I'm not going. I'm going with friends.
You'll be fine. You'll be in your own section.
Be there alone.
With a flag that says Taylor. They said that there were like VIP tickets and general tickets.
Yeah.
And then the minute the concert started, they bought the VIP tickets and they were like the front. But then the minute the concert started, everyone just sprinted to the front. No tickets were even like acknowledged. Like it's just like young kids jumping on each other and like dancing. So they were like so mad about how the tickets were like.
They demand a refund?
I don't even know what they did. It was a long time ago, but they said, what's the name of the band?
It's I don't even know. It's a Taylor Swift tribute band. I don't
I
fucking
love
know
it.
what the name is.
That's great. That's fun.
It's the most I'll pay to see Taylor Swift as much as I love her.
This is it.
It's not the real thing.
What an economy she is to have like
sold out cover tribute bands sold out.
I don't think a tribute Jared Freed comedy night.
What would that be like?
So odd, right? Some fucking
It'd be tough
asshole
to do
yelling.
Someone who just memorizes your set and then says it themselves.
Does a version of me.
That's kind of funny, like AI.
One time I saw someone impersonate me. It was the most insulting thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I hate when people impersonate me. You know why?
What do they do?
Their voice gets like 6 octaves lower. And I find it so insulting.
Well, it's like a caricature. They play up the thing.
I'm like, is my voice that low? I don't know, my man. I don't know.
I was in Philly. It was years ago. There was one waitress there who was like this character. She was like a fun character, and I liked her. I like her. She came to my show in Philly, like to visit and say hello. But I walk in and she's doing like it's a circle of all the wait staff, and she's going, ooh, and like marching around.
That's supposed to be you?
That was supposed to be in it, and then she's doing my jokes, and I'm like, what's going on here? And she turns, she goes, I didn't mean it. Like,
oh my God, that's an awful story for her.
She was
Can you imagine?
Right.
Imagine if all the people you were making fun of were right behind you. It's a comedian's nightmare.
I mean, imagine if we didn't cut out half the shit we say on this podcast.
Seriously. All right, sorry.
We don't cut out that much.
26 minutes. Should we get in?
Yeah, let's get right in. Jump right in.
Okay.
Yeah, I got shows.
JaredFreed.com. All right. Dear J&J, longtime listener, first-time caller. I'm a big fan of your show, and I'm hoping you can give me some advice in my relationship. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years. It's been a tumultuous one, and in the last few months, I've become certain that I have to break things off. He's very nice, funny, romantic guy. The sex is great, but the partnership is just not working for me, and I'm pretty confident it never will.
Okay. OVA, dead on arrival.
Over. The long version is that of the 5 years of our relationship, his business failed, unrelated to the pandemic.
Uh-oh.
No one was thinking that. Like as if we were about to make excuses for him. Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, the pandemic. It's been a misty winter.
Misty Winter sounds like Taylor Swift's new album. He was unemployed for a while, and then he changed companies 4 times in the past year. We get it. He's a bum.
Loser.
I'm 8 years younger than him, 36. I have worked hard to have a successful career. I started making 6 figures a couple of years ago, getting to travel all over Europe. We get it. You're incredible.
Right. Well, here's the thing. When people are like, I mean, this is exactly male fears.
That a woman would be writing this in about them?
Right. Like he's a loser at his business. It's like, what attracts women? What attracts men? Like, and
right.
again.
This is kind of the equivalent of a woman writing in, that man writing in, she gained 15 pounds and then, it didn't have to do with the pandemic.
Right. But it's a little bit, again, these are tropey things. These are like kind of, but generalities are there for a reason, So like, when someone, again, so when someone says like when a man says their timing's not right, and they don't feel comfortable in their career, and then they go, that's an excuse. Okay. But can we say it's a valid excuse that like,
well, we're like, we want you even though you're a broke loser.
Right. You see potential.
Shouldn't you be into that?
Right. I got no potential.
That's what we hear. It's like, oh, are you waiting to be more successful to find someone better than me?
Hey.
That's kind of what.
No, that's not. I've never thought. I mean, that was like a Seinfeld episode where he's like, I think it's like Bob Odenkirk. He's like, every dentist, the minute they become a dentist, they have to dump whoever they're with.
Yeah, I mean.
And it's like, yeah, that's in TVs and movies. But like, when I've ended things, because I'm like, I don't know about where I am in life is ready for I'm thinking more on the lines of like, ready for the things that people want. Like when she writes this.
But it just sounds like with the career thing, like if you say, that's why you can't commit. It's like, if I'm not telling you that's an issue, then why is it an issue?
Right. I guess I don't want to be, the thought is I'm half doing this career that would bring me, that if I could fully do it, not go to like Christmas in Iowa, I don't know. You get into like, am I full, again, to go back to, I understand that the feedback would be like, well, who's to say that would hold you back from doing the things you want to do? But that's kind of how people think before they get to that next step.
Right.
I just say, like, the fears are not, generally, like, not really rational.
That's true.
Yeah. But that's the fear.
Right.
Like, when I read this, when I hear this, it's like, I'm getting to travel all over Europe.
Right.
I got this anchor dude.
For a third of our relationship, I've covered all of our meals together, put a roof over his head, even paid for his bus passes.
Nothing sounds more unfuckable than that sentence. I
Can
mean,
I have bus money?
passes. Yeah.
Can I get bus money? That's not cute.
He's going through it.
From either person.
But also, she's also like footing the bill. Like, maybe she's the reason he's not. He's comfortable.
I mean, she said he doesn't have a driver's license, a credit card, or a passport. Sometimes he doesn't really have a cell phone. Okay, that's weird.
Is he are you dating a baby?
I used to like the idea.
He uses his pacifier every day. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think you're dating a baby.
I used to like the idea of someone living a simple life in a noisy world, but after 3 years of lockdown, I want all the noise. Short version: he's very nice and very broke, and in the last 5 years, our lives have gone in different directions. I feel like he's holding me back, and I'm starting to resent him. Since we're past the holidays and both our birthdays, I really want to end things before a big trip I'm going on. And well before February 14th. I love the idea that any man is like thinking like, I just hope I have a date for Valentine's Day.
Before Valentine's Day?
I don't think I've ever heard of a man complaining about the breakup in proximity to Valentine's Day.
She doesn't want any blame.
Right.
She just wants as easy out as.
Yeah.
I get it.
With respect to our years together, I don't want to deeply hurt him, and I just want to end things cleanly and definitively. I think you say that there's no good way to break up, but if you had to really dig deep and come up with one, I would be eternally grateful. Sincerely, New Year, it's not you. I mean, it definitely is him, but just saying.
Well, we're not the match. We've grown apart. I've grown apart from you.
Well,
this
is the difference, I think, between men and women breaking up. I also think is that, like, I would imagine I would be very surprised if she hasn't been making comments about the money situation and the job situation and the ambition situation this entire time. Maybe she hasn't. But most women I know would be doubling down on this as like an issue.
I agree with you. I think to me, I would assume the same. Right. She's tried what she could.
Yes.
I mean, when you're giving someone bus money.
Right. And it's 5 years.
And it's 5 years. And you're trying.
Right.
You've been with them through thick and thin. You've done.
Right.
And now no change has been made. They've actually gotten more comfortable in the lifestyle that you're providing for them than you would have hoped.
Yeah.
You've been let down. That's okay. I'm turned off.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And it's okay to be turned off by lack of ambition or finances or whatever you want to be turned off by. You can be turned off by whatever you want.
Right. And you're going to hurt him. I mean, you have to accept that.
Right.
You're going to hurt his feelings. This person will be okay. I think there are harder relationships to get out of than this one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I look at this and I go,
give him $50. Leave it on the table.
Leave the bus money on the table.
They'll cover him for a few weeks till he gets back on his feet.
As someone who's been in a position of breaking up and not really good at it, not liking it, no one likes it, but like feeling what she's feeling.
Right.
And like looking at the dates, we're past the birthdays, we're past the holidays. They're going to come back at you and generally, they'll come back at you and try to hurt you in the way they feel hurt.
Right.
How could you do this to me 2 weeks before? Whatever. But
I'm good. I think with men, a lot of the times too, maybe this doesn't happen with women as much. I think if you try to break up with a man who doesn't want to be broken up with, he will say he will change. He'll take the reasons that you give him and he'll say, I can fix that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try harder. I'm going to do that. And usually they don't, but sometimes they do.
This isn't one thing though.
That's what I would imagine.
No credit card, no license, no passport.
It is one thing. It's a lack of.
I want to travel. Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking care of you.
And I feel like I'm
in a way that is not, the way I want my life to be.
Well, the beautiful thing for her is that she has tried. So I think that's a good thing. So if he's like, why? I think but you got to speak in I terms.
Right.
If you speak in I terms, there's no debate. So it's like, I want to travel. I feel turned off by, you being in between jobs, and I've been kind of footing the bill for lifestyle that you're leading, even though you live a very minimal lifestyle. That's probably like on her mind too. It's like, I can, $100 a week to get this guy to the bus. Like, it's not a lot, but it is a lot. It's
not about
I see my
that,
future
even,
differently
right?
with
Yeah.
someone than the
I'm
one
looking for
that I
a
see.
match. I'm looking for something else in someone that I'm dating.
Right. And I think you sit them down. Hey, come over. Let's talk.
And what if he says, I can change. I'm going to, I've got a bunch of stuff lined up. It's not going to be like this forever.
I can't change with you. I think that's a big part. Like, I hope listen, I'm not going to make someone change. I'm not going to I've tried to help you through tough times. I can't walk you through it anymore.
Right.
Because I need my life to go to the next level and the next space, which is a flight leaving for Tulum in about an hour. Right. To me, this is a simple, rip the Band-Aid off. And I think also appreciating, I did enjoy it. I do enjoy that we met. You're
compliment
the reason.
sandwich.
Right. A little compliment
She
sandwich.
said he's a very nice guy. He's just very broke.
Yeah, and the 9:00 bus is coming soon.
You're about to find out if he is a very nice guy.
Right.
That's kind of.
The thing is, when you put things a certain way, they'll go, yeah, I can kind of see, I gotta get my shit together. And this, to me, positively,
might help him.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think right now,
usually this kind of thing, you have to kind of hit a bottom if you're in a rut to turn things around.
Right. Or he meets someone who
likes him just as he is.
Right. And has no passport, has no credit card, and is living in the woods with him.
Into that. Yeah. And I've said that again, I think a lot of women do this where they try to get a man to change, and they try and they try and they try and they're not. And then I remember I had a friend who was about to break up with her boyfriend, and who was kind of saying the same thing. I keep asking him to do this and I keep asking him to do that. And he says he's going to do it, and then he doesn't really do it. And I said, well, you should break up with him. Let him find someone who likes him just as he is.
Right.
That doesn't constantly want him to be a different person. It's not just for you. It's for him. People should be with someone who likes them as they are.
Right. Yeah. And listen, I think I've broken up with people who are like, what the fuck?
Well, you probably don't lay the groundwork as much as women do.
This woman has tried.
Yeah.
I've tried less.
Yeah.
So
right.
And I
You're
say
not a bad person.
You're not a bad person. Yeah. This is, and again, you're harping on time, 5-year relationship. Yeah. You guys, it ran its course.
Right.
And that's okay.
It's not a 10-year.
No. And he's not going to turn to you and go, you took away my childbearing years.
Right.
It's
well, that's the benefit there.
There's a benefit there. Let's look positively. He's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And just, here's the other thing she's probably thinking. She's like, oh, he's going to be okay in a way that you think is horrific.
Why he's going to go fuck a bunch of people?
No, no, but I more mean he's going to go live in a tent near the bus station. And
the worst thing that could happen is here's the horror story of breaking up with this guy. And this is probably why she hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
Is the fear when you do this is you break up with this guy. He gets his shit together completely. Someone else gets the new, improved version of him, and you never meet anyone else in your life.
That's brutal. I mean,
that's
she's not going to break up with him now.
No, I'm saying that's when you don't break up with someone for when women don't break up with men, when they're ready to, intellectually, it's because they're thinking in that way.
I think that there's a term.
He's going to change as soon as I break up with him. Someone else is going to get the benefit of all the work I've done here, and I might never meet anyone else again.
There's a term for that in gambling. It's a bad gambler, but I think there's a term for it. It's if when you lose $100.
Oh, the next person at the table, you warmed up the table.
Well, you're like, I'll just get back to even.
Right.
And when you lose $100, you have to make 200%. There's
right.
You have
you're
to
in the hole.
You're in the hole. So if you go down from 100 to 50, you have to make back double. It's that much harder. And then it's this. There's a term for it. Someone's gonna DM it to me, but it's I'm sure, but it's I think it's something fallacy. It's but that's how this that's the mindset of that person is well, if I just get back to this, and then we'll be great. And it's no.
Right.
You're with someone who's this is who they are.
And you don't like them as they are.
Leave the table.
Sunk
Yeah.
cost fallacy. That sounds right.
Awkward encounter. This one made me gasp.
It's a great one.
J&J, love you guys. I was baking holiday cookies with my boyfriend and his parents tonight.
Wow.
That already
itself,
made you
yeah.
gasp.
I'm certainly not doing that.
Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane.
How many people do you need to bake some cookies? Not
Whole
for
family.
adults.
Who's cracking eggs?
Not for adults to bake some cookies.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like the nicest, sweetest thing. You're out.
Well, we'll find out how sweet it gets.
I was hugging my grandmother.
Would you do this?
Ugh. Would I do this?
You,
No, I'd
you
be
and
in
your
the other
girlfriend
room.
making latkes with her parents.
No fucking way.
Zero
I'd be
chance.
I'd be
Don't
in the
even
other
go
room
there.
drinking.
You would never.
You're right.
Just
I'm an
sounds
asshole,
worse
too.
for me because I'm a woman. And I'm
Well,
supposed to like that stuff.
it gets worse from here. I didn't think this is the sentence that was gonna
Trigger me.
I was with my loved ones. Ugh.
Disgusting.
I was baking holiday cookies with my boyfriend and his parents tonight. His mom had this really messy dark chocolate peppermint cookie batter all over her hands. And she says, "Ooh, try this." She goes over to my boyfriend and sticks her finger in his mouth. I watched in horror as he licked the cookie batter off his mother's finger. I brought it up later, and he doesn't see what's wrong with it. Am I crazy? I can't get the image of him sucking his mom's finger out of my head. It's a porno.
This is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. This is awful.
Oh, who's gonna take care of this cookie batter?
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh, mommy.
This is why you don't date a guy who bakes fucking holiday cookies with his parents.
Right.
Because it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from a situation like this.
Right. You couldn't be more right. You better stay. Don't listen to this
So I'm
podcast.
saying,
We'll ever bake
it's like
cookies
a gateway
again.
drug.
Right. You started cookies.
Like,
next
things
thing you
get
know,
weird. Yeah.
you're going down on your grandmother
Too
to get
close.
the peppermint
But you know what?
schnapps off her pussy.
You know why this is particularly awful? This is particularly awful because, like, you don't really know what to do with this, right? You see this happen.
Right.
He's not saying it's weird. You either have to tell every person you know and, like, assert for yourself that it is weird.
I could understand. Let me give some empathy to the criminal here. You do it, and then you go, "What the fuck did I just do?" Like he needs to.
He should have said that.
Right. I can
Immediately
understand it
after, wow,
happening
that was
quickly.
weird. Sorry.
What the fuck? I
Ew.
can't.
I don't know why I just did that.
I'd have to take a cold shower. I'd have to rinse my mouth out with soap.
Right.
Yeah. But the idea that he's like, what?
Imagine a girl, her father puts his finger, he licks the batter off her father's finger.
Come to daddy.
No, right?
No, I can't imagine this happening.
It would be hard to unsee that.
The holidays fuck people up. I think that's like,
It's
I think it's
creepy.
maybe everyone gets too much in. Like I'm watching on TikTok, like all these like.
Try this.
Ugh.
What?
Some I've been watching like all these TikToks of like it's like Gen Z kids at home.
Okay.
It's like people in their early 20s like going home for the holidays and like being around the house for the holidays. So like they're dancing in their living room,
Doing their TikToks.
doing their
okay.
TikToks, you know, and you kind of come across these like holiday versions of the TikToks when it's like young girl out in New York City doing like a review of some garbage place. I go, okay. But all of them are just like dressed in these like pilly sweatshirts at home dancing. And I can like smell the stale breath of their house. I don't know. They all just grossed me out. Like I was just like looking at all these like
That's the dark side
homes.
of TikTok.
Right. It was like these homes in Ohio with too much Christmas shit everywhere.
That's really funny.
I don't know. I had
Yeah.
this thought because I was like, I even tweeted, I was like, Gen Z dresses like their house smells stale.
Oh,
Like,
it does.
yeah.
Why?
Apologies to our Gen Z.
they're being raised by Gen Xers.
Right.
Those people don't know what they're doing.
Here, there's some extra cookie
Oh my
batter.
God.
Lick the spoon is even a little weird.
Lick
like
the
if the
spoon,
mom
I
was
could
holding
get
the
over.
spoon and put it up to her son's mouth, I'd be like,
Still weird.
Still weird.
I could get over that. The finger. We'd have to have.
I mean,
like,
the
a
way it
real-
was written.
I'd have to just. It would cause me to evaluate their whole relationship with their parents.
He used his tongue on his mom's finger. That's fucking weird.
Would you rather
Okay.
you're dating a woman and she's making holiday cookies with her parents? Her dad puts the finger up to her. She licks the thing up, or
How long does she lick it for?
What? Or her dad does something that slightly annoys her, and she just starts like going off on him, being like, "You fucking asshole!"
Oh,
like,
the
and
yell
just keeps
at
going.
the parent
Yeah,
kid.
like intense yelling.
Ooh,
Which one would you rather?
Yell at the parent kid. You're
like in a way where you're like, "Oh my god!"
Right. You go, how has this house operated?
Right. I don't know which one is worse. They're both really bad.
I've witnessed yell at the parent kid, and it's you can't forget. That's
gonna be you.
right.
Yeah.
At some point, I replaced the dad to get yelled at.
Right. Even so, I might still prefer that to licking the mom's finger.
Right. It's a tough one.
It's tough
because, like, when someone says "fuck you, mom,"
yeah,
you go, "Whoa!"
A man saying that to his mom, that would be tough.
Right. A woman
Yeah.
saying that to her dad, "Fuck you, dad," like a hard "fuck you." Like, no. That's not
Right.
how
Yeah.
this is gonna operate.
Or
like,
she licks the peppermint
off
cookie
his
batter
penis.
off. Oh, gross! Off of his finger.
I'd rather the finger lick, if I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
At least they like each other too much. I don't know.
And that'll be you one day, right?
Yeah. Well, I could put a stop to that. I don't think I could put a stop to, like, I think that is like that's a DNA that gets passed down. I think
Right.
if someone is yelling at their parent in that way, then they're going to pass it down to their kid.
Right. And you can't have your kids speaking to you like that.
No.
Not cool.
My kids will not speak.
All right. I agree.
let's do
Sean,
another
what do you
email.
think? Agreed?
Sean?
Or you're not plugged in?
No.
Which one would you rather?
I'd way rather they yell.
Oh, you prefer
Rather
the
they
yell.
yell.
Okay.
You can't unsee the lick.
Would it be enough to end the relationship?
No. That's
Okay.
the problem. The problem is this is a sweet family making cookies together during the holidays. And she's like, "You sucked on your mom's toe. Can we address this?" And then he's like, "What do you mean? We love each other."
Right.
Like, that's the problem is, like, there's a moral high ground that he kind of lives in.
Yeah,
I
and
hope
he-
she's listening. You're right. These people are fucking monsters, and they really should reassess the whole relationship. But
You cannot break up with someone for this reason.
right, it's
But
tough stuff.
you can work on it though.
You can work on it, and I think, like, maybe bring up some scenarios.
How
like,
would
maybe-
you feel if
Right, I lick my dad's finger. Like,
Because
even
I'll
that
do
sentence.
it. If you think it's cool, I'll do it.
Right, that sentence alone should make you go. The guy go, "Oh, shock him into reality."
Right.
Let's say you go to Mike's place. They're a big Christmas family.
Big Christmas family.
How was Christmas?
It was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gifts all good?
Good gifts. Got everything on my list.
You got all no finger licking?
No finger licking. Thankfully, yeah. No, that's one of my favorite things about Mike is his appropriate relationship with his mother.
It's appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
But what's the scenario?
I guess the scenario is he licks,
I would know this earlier though, I think. You would know that pretty early into dating if he was the kind of I feel like he's appropriately like both into and irritated by his mother. That's kind of what you need.
right. You need to, like, yeah, I've been talking
what I
a
mean?
lot. I know what you mean, because I've
Like
been talking.
irritated the right amount with the right amount of respect.
You have to be able to go, "All right, goodbye,"
Right.
when you've had enough. You have to
Yes.
have enough.
Yes.
And you have to go,
important.
"Yeah, that's fucking weird." Just as a couple, you guys need to, like, be able to acknowledge what's weird and not weird.
That's really the
together.
main
That's
thing
the
in
problem.
any scenario with anything. I agree. All right, let's do
another
another one.
email.
Hi guys, love the podcast, long time listener. Anyway, let's jump straight to the questions. How
Love
does
it.
one get over a what could be relationship that never happened due to bad timing? Is it selfish to keep dating someone when you can't stop thinking about another person from your past that didn't work out but could work out now if you gave it a go? Emphasis on could. I
Well,
love
how
my
does she know?
boyfriend and want to be all in. When I'm with him, I do not think about this past guy at all, but the days I don't see my boyfriend, the past guy creeps back into my mind. Can I talk to my boyfriend about this without hurting him or jeopardizing the trust he has in us? In general, I am in desperate need for tips on how to get over a what-if relationship and how to finally move on. Maybe I just need a new hobby to distract myself from my thoughts. And to save you from all the drama, basically the quick comparison would be the whole Mr. Big and Aidan debacle from a Sex in the City. Just, I have not cheated. I do not want to break up with my Aidan because he is all I've ever wanted in a man, but I don't think I can keep dating Aidan if I cannot get Mr. Big out of my mind because I'm going crazy with these thoughts when I'm alone. I also feel like Aidan deserves to be with someone who isn't cheating on him in their mind anytime he's out of town. Sincerely, the girl who only knows how to deal in absolutes and doesn't know how to get closure on her own. That is a very long sign off.
Long sign off. What did you think of this email when you read it?
I think a man would never write this email.
No.
It's just funny to me, like the amount, like there's absolutely no men are ever like, I jerked off to like this woman. Like, I don't think my girlfriend deserves this to be with a man who's having sex in his mind with someone that's not me.
Right.
She would never say that, right? You would
No,
never, you would,
no.
you, I mean, a man would never say that. He would never think about that. He would never think about
I think he would
what
think
that-
it's like natural.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And in the same way, I think it's natural to think about previous people that you've dated that maybe you didn't get full closure on every now and then. And that doesn't mean you're not into your boyfriend. She says when she's with him, she's like, she loves him. I don't think that like, it depends on how pervasive it is. But if it's like, I also think it's maybe a sign of something else. I don't think it's about this other guy. I think maybe she's like a little bored or she's craving some more drama. But I don't think it's about that. I think the idea of feeling guilty about thinking about someone else when a guy would never think that
You're
is
right.
crazy to me.
It's funny. We thought two different directions.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying. Like,
Right? Like, have you ever felt guilty about masturbating to porn in a
what would you
relationship?
say? Me masturbate to porn?
I just imagine a man.
Let's not make accusations
man-
here. Come on.
Imagine a man just saying that to his friends, like, I just feel like she deserves someone who's only having sex with her.
No,
in their mind.
it's funny that I didn't take it that way. It's interesting because like I guess yeah, you're right. The idea
And I
that she
think
like
women are
feels
more
bad.
emotionally masturbating, as I say.
Yes.
That's more of a tendency of theirs, maybe than
Well, that's
physical. In
that's
this
kind of
case.
what when I kind of zoned in on. I just noticed how vague she was about this last relationship.
Right.
Like the vagueness that she used to describe it. She goes into this big and Aidan. Well, what about you? What the fuck are you talking about? Like I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. I read this and I was like, why didn't you tell us the story of the last boyfriend? What happened? And I think she doesn't want to hear that this guy doesn't want to fucking date you. And it was never going to work out with him.
romanticizing it.
Yeah, and if she told us, like when she says he creeps back into my mind, but never your phone, never your DMs, he don't want you. It's timing. She makes this whole assumption.
Right.
Timing. No, he didn't see the relationship long term for him, and everyone is.
But no one's telling themselves that story because it doesn't make them like you said, the main character of,
Right.
of the dramatic love story where everyone, especially with Instagram, everyone feels like they're the star of their own show.
Right.
So that's not really like the story most people are telling themselves.
She is not.
Right.
She's telling herself this whole like would they won't they
Right.
Jim and Pam story that just didn't work out. And
That's an emotionally masturbatory storyline.
right,
she's
she needs to
giving.
come to terms with that person wasn't for you. And it's over. And it ain't coming back.
Right.
Unless you want like that's the only thing. Like she's like, I need closure. It's like it sounds like you got it. Like
Yeah.
it's not like this guy it would be different if she was like, I keep getting texts from my ex and they're all like very nice. And then I think of like what we would have been. She never says that at all.
Right.
She's
just creating a whole storyline.
And I can understand because again, going back to what we talked about in the beginning with like men, with the other email where it's like she tried again with the 5 years. She's paying the bus fees, like she's
saving up those quarters.
right. She's wrung that towel dry, and now she's 5 years in, going, "Is he gonna be okay?" It's like I can understand that she was maybe in like a 3-monther.
Yeah.
The guy was like, hey, timing's off. They had like a
Right.
really great time in 3 months. Now she's with this new guy and they're settled into like the reality of a relationship, which is kind of boring and kind of,
Yeah.
like not as exciting as like we get drunk and don't care about the world and waltz around
Right,
New
and
York
then-
City together.
And here's the thing, which, it's maybe tougher to say, is that when someone is sort of like not into you at that 3-month mark, it is quite exciting. Because every
Yeah.
text you get from them is very exciting
Mhm.
in that thing. Like it's a lot of high highs and low lows. To be like unsure of someone, to be the person in a situation like that likes the person more
Mhm.
is like a very exciting thing. It just is.
Yeah.
There's really no way around that. It like feels horrible a lot of the time, but it is very exciting.
Right. The highs,
Yeah.
oh, we're going out. And then you go out and do like kind of unrealistic things. Like you're going out and just drinking or eating,
Yeah.
and then there's no thought of like,
You're sleeping together all the time because you just met each other.
right, you go back to your own
Right.
house and take a nap.
Yeah.
You're not like sitting on top of each other like, oh, I'm kind of tired in the nothingness of the day. Again, this isn't like a defense of her new relationship. I just think this is more like she's not admitting to that wasn't,
Right.
there's
Well, I mean,
that wasn't going to, didn't end because of timing. It ended because two people didn't want it enough.
right. Probably him. But
Well-
that's the thing you kind of give up in a relationship a little bit. Is
Right.
You give up that extreme high. It doesn't feel as high as when the guy who you're not sure if he's into you, hasn't texted you all week, finally texts you. That's really exciting.
Right.
It just doesn't feel like that when you've been with someone for many years.
Yeah, I would assume
It
that.
could be like you could be happy and excited in different ways, but it's not going to be like the drug.
Right. I guess like if, to me, the braver email would be the relationship I was in wasn't giving me everything I wanted. I ended it. Then I went and took a chance, went to this last guy, was like, she wrote,
I don't think there's anything
didn't
wrong
work
with her
out, but
relationship.
could work
though.
out now if you gave it a go. That is crazy. How does she know? She never mentions him texting her.
Right.
It would work out, but could work out now if it gave it a go. Read that sentence to yourself. You're speaking for some other human being with their own life and own insecurities and own
Right.
thing. Like, it could work out. No, it couldn't.
It's over.
I don't know. I think the braver one would be like, no, she's speaking for other people.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm
I
not
think
telling
it's
her to
more- I
break up
think-
with this guy.
I think this is more of her craving a little drama and
Mm.
excitement in her life and being a little too comfortable.
right.
Spice things up. Try spicing things up in the regular relationship.
Yeah. Or leaving it and being alone and like dealing, there's something to be, I think I would have a lot of respect for this person if she was like, there was something I felt then. There's something I'm not getting now.
I don't think that's the case though,
Okay.
because she says the relationship is great, right? Like she's not saying anything negative about the relationship.
Yeah, he's Aidan.
To me, it's
in
just
his samurai jacket.
I mean, Carrie doesn't. Oh my God, the Aidan. We never even got into that.
right.
But to me, this is a longing for a more dramatic time.
Mm.
And
Well, that's what she needs to suss out.
but as I'm saying, you wouldn't be like to a man. You wouldn't be like, oh, you're jacking off to a picture of a different woman than your girlfriend. You need to leave her. Like
No,
you're
no,
not
no, 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 no.
interested.
That I didn't even think of like.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, that's
Yeah.
like you're saying like she needs to break up with this guy because she's had impure thoughts about someone
Oh
else.
no,
it
not
seems
no.
like.
I that's not my. It's more like these are two different things.
Are they?
Maybe not. I think if they're connected, then you're right. It's this like I need some excitement. If they're not, I think she needs to like accept that like you're speaking for this last relationship, the one that you're referencing that you won't even tell us about.
Right.
Like
Well, I'm
I think
saying
she'd be
she's
embarrassed to tell us.
I
about.
agree. She's conjuring a romanticized version of whatever that is.
Yeah, she's fucking Carrie.
Yeah. But that can just happen because you missed drugs a little bit.
Right. Do some drugs.
Do some drugs. See if it fills the hole.
Let's play some games. You ready?
Let's do it.
UUP at Betches.com. We love Red Flag Deal Breaker. I mean, these ones this week.
Are weird.
We have pictures.
we got yeah, we'll post the pictures on
We
the
got to post
Instagram.
this first picture. I mean, they're just giving these feet
I mean,
picture away.
This is not
Somebody.
I think that I don't know that this is the most flattering angle they could have chosen.
I think that was the reason they chose it.
Yeah.
Red Flag or Deal Breaker, they have gross feet. J&J, Feather. Recently, I've been second guessing my lack of a pedicure routine.
Okay.
I'm an avid distance runner and high heels girly, both of which contribute to plenty of blisters, calluses, and other unsexy additions to my feet. I also don't really pay much attention to keeping my toenails painted. I like to believe the rest of my body makes up for it.
You ever thought that about a woman?
I'm not a feet guy.
Disgusting, but you know she's got that big ass.
Hot ass. She's good from the thigh up. I like to believe the rest of my body makes up for it, or at the very least, distracts from it. If a girl is otherwise very attractive, do guys notice if she has really unkept feet? LMAO. At the risk of being too forward, I've attached a very recent foot pic for reference, which you can show if you choose. You're someone's foot.
I think she's purposely taken an unflattering foot picture here.
These feet, I don't know if I could call them feet.
They're positioned, again, if you want to see this, go on the You Up Instagram story.
She's got some swelling going on. I mean, she definitely has some running things, and they look bruised a little bit.
I would have shown a more close-up picture of the toes. What do you think?
I'm not a foot. So there's people with foot. I hate to call it fetish. I guess that's
appreciate a good foot.
There are people into feet.
Okay.
That is not my thing, but good for them.
How are your feet?
I think they're okay.
Yeah.
I've never even thought of feet.
I think mine are average.
I just, what's interesting? I've never thought of feet, but then you hear about someone who loves feet and you go, I can't believe how far away from each other we are, but good for them. It's not.
What's a good foot? What's a sexy foot?
That's the problem. I don't even know. I don't. So
you notice nail polish, toe polish?
I notice hand polish. I notice
you said you recently are into that.
Recently into it.
Okay.
I like it.
You feel the same way about the toes?
I've never thought of it. I guess I would only think of it in a relationship.
Okay. You're about to hook up with someone. You're on the bed. They take off their shoes. They've got enormous blisters all over the shoes. Their toes are yellow. Toenails.
I don't even know if I would look. I really.
Right. I don't think I would look. I've never really noticed a man's feet before.
But I guess
they would have to be very, very fucked up.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
What if this was a man's foot? These pictures.
It doesn't look that
get in
bad
bed.
to me. How am I seeing the bottom of the foot? I cannot really see. How would I see the bottom?
I only think you look at the feet this way if you're into feet. That's my point. I think yes, this woman, they sign off with you're someone's foot. That is a saying from this podcast.
If someone's very into feet,
maybe
they will,
or
not,
that's their type of foot. I don't even know. Maybe they're I like the runner's foot, high heel girly. Ooh, a callus. I don't know. This is with things people are into, which it only seems I've only met men with foot things. I don't think is it a woman thing?
I've never noticed a man's feet. I don't know anyone who has.
Have you ever heard of a woman being a foot woman?
She's into.
It feels like the foot fetish is only exclusive to men.
I don't know. I also don't know what makes a good foot.
If
you have a foot fetish, write in.
I know a guy.
Oh, maybe he can tell us.
He's very open about it. He came on my podcast.
Ask him what the criteria are.
I'm going to ask him.
And in the community, is it something that everyone likes the same stuff? There's universally this is. These are good feet.
He puts the foot in his mouth.
Okay. Does he like a small foot? Is that part of it? He wants a smaller foot? Is that hotter?
I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
I have a relatively large foot, so I don't feel like I would.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a 9.5.
Is that? I don't even know women's sizes.
I would say that's on the larger end, not crazy. Paris Hilton, size 11.
An 11?
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal over here. 11. I'm a 10.5.
Okay.
I
feel like that's a
but I don't
normal
even know,
sized foot.
I don't think women even know what the numbers are.
I don't know men's shoe sizes either. You could tell me.
Someone asked me my height on.
They were a kid's 11 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, someone asked me my height on a Instagram story box, the question box, and
you said 5'3".
I said 5'4" on my left leg and 5'3" on my right, and I was, I'm joking. I've said here, I don't care, I'm 5'8.5".
Right.
And even when I say 1/2, I feel like an idiot.
Right. It's saying you're 38.5.
Right, and 3/4. So I don't know. I think whatever you see is what you feel. It's perception is key.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, these feet, if I saw them, I'd be like, woo, Nelly.
You'd be fine. It wouldn't be a red flag or a deal breaker for you, I assume, right? Or what if you
could blow me?
If you really looked at them?
If I really look, it wouldn't turn me off.
Okay.
I
You're free, foot girl.
How do they look in the shoes? I mean, these are like
Right. She took, I think this is like the worst angle you could possibly take of your feet. I could probably take a worse picture of my feet maybe than this.
yeah, these look like sausages.
Yeah, also just like the way that they're placed. There's no leg in the pictures. It's just
Yeah.
like it looks like they're
She
just
could have
cut
done
off.
herself a couple favors.
Right. I think this is like a purposely bad angle.
Yeah. Let's do another one.
All right. He refuses to get an STD test before hooking up. Hi, Jay. I believe it's called STI these days. Hi, J and J.
Why do
huge
people
fan
get
of the
mad
pod.
at that?
I think because when you call it an STD, it implies it's a disease, which sounds a lot worse than an infection.
I got you.
So, like, infection seems like it can be cured and it's gone. And a sexually transmitted disease is like you're diseased.
Right. When people get angry, I go, I'm sorry, whatever you want.
Right. I don't think it's like a big deal, but I
Right.
think that is technically like.
I can understand
the
how
term.
emotionally that would be a big deal for someone with an STD or
For sure.
STI.
STI. Yeah. Okay. J&J, huge fan of the pod. I'm a 36-year-old female, and I was dating a guy briefly last year. We decided to become exclusive about a month in, and the conversation of sex came up. Okay, I hadn't had sex
Ooh
a month
la
in.
la.
Exclusivity before sex.
Good for them.
I told him I was willing to get on the pill, and we could have. Oh, maybe they have been having sex. I told him I was willing to get on the pill,
Right.
and we could have
He was
sex
fucking
without
her toes.
condoms,
He was a foot guy.
which he was very on board with. Of note, we have had sex at this point multiple times with protection. Okay, so my bad. I then asked if he would be willing to get STD testing, STI, before we made that commitment. I'm a physician, so I'm hyper aware of STD/STIs.
So maybe this is the correct way to put it. They're a
Both?
physician.
Yeah, I guess so. But she says /STIs.
Right. That she made this
Maybe they're two different kinds.
right. We're gonna get a
Um,
whole
I don't know.
30-page
From the
email
health
on
class,
the
yeah.
differences. Yeah. Okay.
I'm hyper aware of the STD, STIs, and my comfort level with these conversations might be different from a lay person.
Us
Such a
lays.
doctor thing to say.
Right. I'm okay with that. I'm a fucking idiot.
But his reaction made me feel very awkward. He said that I made him feel very uncomfortable and that my request felt like an invasion of his medical privacy. He subsequently refused and said he never wanted me to bring it up again. Okay.
Don't you mention these STI tests around me again. This penis shall be private.
There you go. Needless to say, we broke it off soon after, but just wanted to know your thoughts since he made me feel so bad/weird for asking. I also have had a boyfriend in the past who had no issue with me asking for this, so I assumed it was normal request. So red flag or deal breaker? He refuses to get STD testing prior to having unprotected sex.
Deal breaker. Simple. Why'd you get weird? We're two people. We're two adults trying to come to terms on no condom.
Assuming she asked for it in a normal, non-weird way, I think that's a crazy reaction.
It's a completely crazy reaction.
You want to know my
especially-
medical history? My private medical history?
You don't know shit, or you know some shit.
Do you think he's trying to hide a incurable STI?
I don't. It's either that, or he wants to keep fucking other people, and he doesn't want to be like held to.
Well, it's funny because if I think the idea of a woman bringing up, I'm sorry to interrupt, being like, all right, like if you want to be exclusive, like we can have sex without a condom if you
Right.
just give me a test. Like if you're not interested in being exclusive, how do you answer that question?
You have to. You're having a. There's no way around it. I think this is what he tried to do.
Like, would you do that? Well, but if someone brought that up to you,
Hey, I want to be exclusive, and if we're gonna be, hey, I want to.
like I want to have sex without condoms. Like, could you get tested and then we can have sex without condoms?
I would be like, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for such a. No, I'm a. You know, I've said it here. I'm a big condom guy.
Yeah, I think if he said I'm not ready for that, that would have been a better answer than you're invading my medical privacy.
Well, yeah, I'm not ready for that. Is saying other things too.
right.
I'm not ready for that. This relationship isn't there for me.
Mhm.
And that's an okay response, in my opinion.
right.
Like, and it's also okay for the person to be like, well, can you still get tested? Like, I think that's like an equally okay response to I'm not ready for that. But okay, well, knowing that, look, it would be normal to me if the person was like, knowing that you don't want to stop wearing condoms, can you please get tested? Because I can only assume that you're out there in a way that I might not be.
Well, then they might say, but we're wearing condoms, so what's the difference?
At that point, I'd be like, you're making this difficult for me to feel comfortable.
Right.
You know, like I think your comfort comes first. Comes to sex, especially.
Mm-hmm. Would you get tested just for no reason at all?
I'd have to, that would push where we are.
Right.
That'd make me assess where we are.
To even take the test, even if you were still using the condoms.
I would still take. I would take it. The test wouldn't be the issue.
Right.
It would be you are telling me. It's a reveal.
Okay.
You're telling me where you are.
Right.
I need to assess if I'm in the same space. Now we have to have a talk.
Right.
The test is like
being used as a facilitator.
it could be.
Right. Or
She's
a physician.
Right. But in this scenario, it's pretty normal to me. Hey,
Right.
I'd love to. We're getting pretty serious here. Would love to stop using condoms.
Right.
And then he goes, yeah, great. He agreed. He's like all pumped. And then she's like, yeah, can you just get tested just so I'm like, can like get this shit out of my head? And he's like, yeah, you shall have my anonymity. And you're like, why'd you get so fucking weird?
Right. And made it about your medical privacy.
Right. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. At least come up with a better lie.
It's like he's gaslighting a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
She's not asking for a DNA sample.
Right. It's one of those things that's like, okay, just tell the truth. Don't make it that you're don't take this moral. I hate the moral
That would be more
shit.
of the deal breaker than the testing itself.
Any weirdness. Again, the process to where he got weird was totally not weird.
Yes.
If I'm dating someone, hey, we're exclusive. Yeah. I want to get off of condoms. Okay, cool. I'm on the pill. Cool. Do you mind just getting tested? When's the last time you got tested? Would be a good question.
Right.
Oh, my birthday, my physical,
Right.
okay. That's a while ago. We weren't together before that. I'm not looking to like pry. Again, some of this is like, I'm not looking to ask any questions. I just want to make sure.
Right. Yeah. I think I think the reaction is crazy.
Yeah. Deal breaker for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Immediate.
Right.
Let's do one more. They paint their own nails at the nail salon when there's a long wait.
This one's crazy.
Feather loved Jorge and Candace on the mic as well. Well,
Got Sean
unlucky
today.
for you. Yeah. I'm writing in for my sister, who went on one of the craziest dates recently. My sister, 29, was seeing a 25-year-old woman recently. The morning after their third date, they went and got manicures together. That's fun.
That's a fun date.
I've done it.
Have you?
I've gotten pedicures on a date.
How many dates in?
It was like,
Like after you slept together? You go and get manicures?
yeah.
With like a non-relationship? Like with
Yeah, we're just,
wow.
we hooked up.
You have to tell me how to get Mike to go in with me. He won't go.
What? He won't go?
He won't go.
Why? What's his reasoning?
Doesn't think he needs it.
Doesn't want to be medically.
He doesn't want me invading his foot privacy.
He doesn't think it's not need. No one needs
That's
a
what
pedicure.
I said. I'm trying to get him in there.
Is
I'm
he
going to
crazy?
just trap him.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
We'll go
all
together.
You, me, and him.
Yeah. The morning after the third date, they went and got manicures together. My sister states they were told it would be about 10-minute wait. The girl apparently started complaining about 5 minutes after a woman who had an appointment got seated before them at about 13 minutes. She complained twice more. Fine. It's super annoying. We love complaining. However,
I love
like
that.
However, after about 30 minutes, she had the audacity to pick up a magazine as a surface to start painting her own nails with the salon's nail polish. Like it was some kind of aid.
I don't get.
I don't understand
What's
that.
the aid? Like the magazine is the aid?
I understand that she
I
would
don't
take the
understand that
magazine and put it on
sentence.
top of it like that, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what she means. Like some kind of aid. I don't
Yeah, I
get
don't
that.
understand that. My sister apparently asked her to stop and said my sister begged her to leave so that they could go to one of the other 10 places in her Chicago neighborhood. Apparently, once she started loudly blowing on the nails to go dry and started the second coat, my sister dragged her date out of there. She broke up with her the next day, thinking if she behaved that way day 3, she must be awful the deeper in they get. As Jordana has said, in some situations, it's okay to have a little shame. So what do you think? Does this show too much audacity for you guys? Our Jewish mom coming to save the day with complaining?
I think she meant or.
Or,
Like, do you respect it or is it
or
too much
Jewish
on
mom
that? Yeah.
coming to save the day with complaining? Hoping to hear what you guys think. Love, this isn't a wine and paint night.
This is a deal breaker. That's crazy.
The way they wrote this email is a deal breaker.
I mean, not the best grammar.
A little rough draft action.
Should have written to edit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is a
deal breaker. It's very embarrassing. I can't with the public like embarrassing thing. I can't deal with that.
It's a different thing to go.
You're like stealing from the nail place by using their nail polish.
Yeah, I think there's like two ways to complain. There's like hey, this is really out of line.
Yeah.
Like we came in here 10 minutes ago. You just sat someone in front of us, and then they go, well, they had an appointment. Okay, well, what's the deal? What's
Right,
going
when
on?
do you think
it's
they're-
okay to
right,
like
yeah.
and I hate a passive aggressive scene.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
I
what
don't
this
like it.
person did.
Right. They're doing their own nails. No.
To just go like to take like the nails,
Just leave,
like,
right?
Like
That's
slam
it's
down.
her right to leave.
Right.
She should have just left.
There's other places we're gonna get out of here, and there's
Just
someone
blow-
with you. Yeah, and you're with someone. It'd be one thing if they were performing this passive aggressive bullshit together.
Then you're also with someone who's the worst.
Yeah, you're just garbage together. I don't know.
Right.
But
Or like to say the idea, like, should I just do it myself? Like as a joke, that would be kind of funny.
totally. Yeah,
I don't like this.
I don't like it one bit.
I would also be embarrassed to be with that person.
I would too. I like complain to have a solution, not complain to become this like
Asshole.
blow up the spot.
Right.
Like that to me is someone who's like a social terrorist.
And then also like, what are we supposed to? And now I'm supposed to like get my nails done while you've
Right.
done this thing. I'm surprised no one said anything to her.
We have to leave now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm out on this.
Yeah,
person.
I'd be out. Date 3, you have to be with someone 10 years for them to pull off that kind of shit.
Right. Let's
That's
solve
it.
dating
We
again.
did it. We'll be back on Sunday.
Boom.
Bye. The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.